Call to order the Ironton City Council meeting of July 25th, 2024. With us this evening for our invocation is Father Morris from St. Joe, St. Lawrence, St. Mary's, and St. Anne's. If he hasn't added any parishes since the last meeting, we'll stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to follow. Father Morris.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for the blessings of this nation, for this county, for this city. As we meet together tonight to work to better ourselves and our community, keep us on focus, help us to know the truth, help us to love as we ought. And we ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Brown. Cleary.
Here.
Haney.
Here.
Harvey.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Klein. Perry.
Here.
Mr. Brown and Mr. Klein gave advance notice that they would not be here this evening. Next is our approval of minutes for the regular meeting of July 11th, 2024, and the Finance Committee meeting of July 11th, 2024. Are there any errors, omissions, additions to those meeting minutes? Hearing none, those meeting minutes will stand as approved. Next is audience participation. If you'd like to address the Ironton City Council, please step to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Sean Osborne. I live at 1604 Thomas Street down in Green Valley. They're known as the Gaza Strip. But anyways, as a property owner, I would like to know if the city or this company that is doing this is going to be responsible for the damages to the property.
Chris.
It's under contract that they will repair any damage that's been done to properties.
And we have that in mind. So before I sign something.
Now, here's where you have to go. Mayor's changed since we go to either Kevin Wood or John Stevens. They'll get you that paperwork and it'll begin the process. I haven't went through the process. I don't know if it's an easy process, but they are required to fix personal property that they damage.
Okay.
And any vendor, this has come up a couple times this week, not just related to North End, but also the gas line repair. This has come up a couple times this week to me personally, and our legislation in town is that any vendor that comes to town that disturbs our streets, or curbs, or sidewalks, or tree lawns, they have to replace like with like. So if cement was there, they have to replace the cement. If blacktop was there, they have to replace the blacktop. If grass was there, they have to replace the grass. So to piggyback on to what Mr. Haney said, we do have legislation to make sure that that's done right by vendors.
Okay. Now, I know own a property for 40 years that when the water line is broke on the street side, the city takes care of the problem, but when the water line is broke on the other side of the meter, the property owner takes care of that. Is that still correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my home is a slab home. I don't have a crawl space. I don't have a basement. And my water meter hole has never been full of water. And it is full of water. I haven't noticed any pressure change in the house, but there's something broke down there. You can take a spade close to my home and hit water. So something's not right down there, but there's a lot of concern. And before I sign anything, I want to hear from you guys that this company is going to be reliable for the damages that are done. I've got drywall cracks and my red brick on my home is cracked. And I will go through John Stevens and follow the ropes. But before I sign anything, which what I hear is going on, I wanted to hear from you all and the mayor that this property is going to be taken care of. And that's it.
Okay.
Okay?
Chris.
Quick,
Oh, Haney, sorry.
Mr. Osborne,
Yes.
actually, I had a neighbor kind of have this same situation now. It may be the water table, but also don't hesitate to call the water office because they sent somebody down and they're able to test if you're getting pressure or if it's leaking, and also they can run a report.
You get tested if there's chlorine.
Yeah, they can do a couple of different tests and they can unhook the water and
Is your bill higher?
See, that's my thing. I have not noticed anything different besides the water in the ground.
yeah.
And I commend our city workers and our government because anytime I've ever had an issue, it's always been taken care of. And from what I understand, I don't want to sign something that is going to, if you men and women are going to tell me that this is going to be taken care of, I'm taking you at your word.
Right.
So I'm good with that. If you guys say that this is all going to be taken care of.
Yeah, just, I mean, if you're having problems with the water in your meter, you're worried about it, don't hesitate to call.
Yeah, I'll call
And
street.
they can send somebody down and check it out for you, make sure no problems.
All right. Thank you all.
No problem.
John Elam, Finance Director. There's a few things that I wanted to give you an update on. First thing, you have financials, your June financials on your desk. Also, there is a copy of the disaster plan. This covers the financial vulnerabilities of the city of Ironton. We just recently updated that, so that is your copy of that to look at. October 22nd through the 25th, 75% of our finance department will be attending a ongoing training for our computer software. We did that this time last year, about October of last year. That was before we got on it. We wanted to make sure that there were, this is our final before we sign the contract. This one is to kind of fine tune what we've learned so far, maybe find some tricks that we can speed things up a bit, because it is, when I'm telling you it is night and day difference, it is night and day difference. So October 22nd, we'll be leaving around noon. October 25th, we'll be leaving Cincinnati area around noon. At some time in the future, be thinking about a budget workshop. We've got 2025 budget that will be coming up. The mayor's budget is due 30 days before the end of the year for that to be presented without a specially called meeting of council. That will be sometime, or the last meeting, fourth Thursday of September. So those are just some dates that you have.
Haney.
Will the finance office be closed those days?
There'll be one right now. We're currently working short-staffed and have been for about 3 weeks. We had one of our office staff had a pretty major surgery. So not really sure when they're going to be back. But when we started talking about this before we made the reservations, she had said, well, I'll stay here. So that was her call. She said, I'm comfortable with the portion of the record keeping that I do.
I just didn't know if you wanted to maybe put that on the website or
Well,
city
maybe,
website or whatever.
maybe as we get closer to that time, in September, that we could do that. But right now, it's just giving you all a 3 months heads up on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marion Tussey, 1507 Karen Street. Our street's been cured now, and we're still 15 days with no street. Do you have any idea, or is there anywhere we can see the schedule of when we are going to have a street? Because we do not have emergency services at this point, and we haven't for 15 days.
There, I've seen a tentative schedule at the very beginning of the project, Ms. Tussey, and because of rain, that schedule is not on track because of weather or whatever. And so I don't know if they update that, but I got one at the very beginning. Do they update that?
Like as you said, weather pending. I talked to Kevin.
It hasn't rained.
Yeah, they've made some.
I was talking about at the beginning.
I believe they've made some leeway this week where it hasn't had any rain and it's been dry, and they're hopeful that they would have Thomas and this cul-de-sac on Karen at the end of the week or beginning of next week.
They've started tearing up Charlotte. They haven't done anything on Karen. And one end of Karen is unpassable. The end where they can drive through, the concrete sticking up like this, really impassable. And I know they're not going to worry about it because they're going to put rock down, but we can't get through there. Was there any consideration on our water bills? I just spent $12 and you should go outside and look at my car. It's nothing but full of dust.
That's not a council, that's a day-to-day issue, and
Well, my understanding was you all do an ordinance for us to have possibly a discount on our water bills while we have to go through this. We have to wash our houses down.
it's not a legislative issue. Yeah.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said it'd probably be within the mayor's purview to talk to the water office about any kind of proration or that kind of thing, but I don't know that legislation would be required.
And did anybody talk to the Board of Education in regards to if the buses are going to be able to get through down there? We do have children on our street that do ride the bus.
Mr. Haney.
I've actually, there's one thing I want to mention to the mayor also. I'm trying to find this picture that I've gotten, but yeah, I've been in contact with the transportation department at Ironton City Schools, and they actually hadn't been going down through there basically last spring. So they kind of know now this is one thing they're probably going to have to get either an update from the mayor weekly or the contractors on what streets they can go down that evening, but they've worked around it since last spring. So the kids down there know what to do, and also the transportation department knows what to do. That being said, the transportation department did ask me if they could get the corners of Hepler and 7th painted yellow due to the buses not being able to make those turns. Because kids will park in there if we can maybe get that done before school starts. But yes, the transportation department is well aware, and they'll adjust accordingly.
Are we getting new sidewalks?
With this project,
Mm-hmm.
I believe no.
What if they busted the
If they
sidewalk?
busted the sidewalks,
It's
they'll.
been busted or disturbed.
And what if they busted, like I poured my concrete 2 years ago and they just busted it? I don't want them to replace it. I've seen their work. It's terrible. So is the city going to be responsible, or what avenue can we go down if we do not want them to do our concrete work?
I would say that would probably be private. If you don't want,
No, I'm going to
if
get a
they're
private
offering
person
to do it, then I don't know that they would.
Well, I'm not going to pay for it again. I done paid for it once, and they just maliciously took the ends of it out. They didn't even have to do that. There's so many of those down there. The man next door to me poured his this past spring, well, the end of last year. They just wiped his out too. Both of us had brand new concrete. And they just ran the heavy equipment over it. And it just tore the ends of it off because there wasn't nothing to support it.
Well, they will be doing curbs, so I'm not sure, but I'm also not sure. I mean, I can't tell you I can answer that question. If they're offering to do it and you don't want them to do it, I would say that would probably fall on you under the contract, but I can't tell you for sure unless Ms. Lister would.
I don't know what their contract is, but
I've never had that come up before.
that's like under the ordinance, if they tear it up, they gotta put it back, and they have to put it back in a workable like manner,
Well, I saw legal counsel on that, and they said I did not have to have their work, that they would be responsible for paying for it.
Well, they'll do that, yeah, they can subcontract it out maybe.
Okay. And do we know any idea if we're gonna get asphalt, this year? There again, I don't see a schedule. People can't see a schedule
The
anywhere.
last plan I heard was, hopefully, unless the weather doesn't permit, because asphalt, you know, in cold weather, the asphalt company shuts down. But as long as we get some decent weather through, say, October, November, there definitely will be asphalt laid down. But I do kind of want to share with you the timeline. Now, the timeline that I have is backed up because they didn't start until after the week of 4th of July.
They took our streets out, made us move on the 10th.
By the way, he's talking to you tonight because where I get my north end updates is right there. So I asked him tonight if there was any questions, if he would field them, because I get my updates from him. He's my go-to.
But I know that was backed up now. Let's see here. We're supposed to start 7/1. We didn't start until 7/8 that week. So everything that I have is probably not. It's definitely not set in stone. And I don't know how many days we are that have been not completed due to rain. But I do know that it was either Monday or Tuesday. I was down through there, and those guys were down there till like 8 or 8:30.
Yeah, they touched the water line.
I think, I'm thinking that hopefully they're trying to
People
get
didn't have
some
water.
places passable, and they're trying to get some things fixed. Now you are on,
Karen Street, cul-de-sac.
I just told you that their ideal is to be done by the end of this week or the beginning of next. That
and
was
that'll be
Kevin
asphalt and
2
all?
hours ago.
That'll be,
No, it's sort of out open.
oh, so they'll have that subsurface that needs to cure
Yeah.
completed all through phase 1A.
Yeah.
So 1A will be,
Yeah, it's been put down. Unless they plan on putting more, the trucks were there earlier this week. It's been 3 days. But they had a water leak. They busted a water line, and that's why those guys worked so late that
that's
night.
probably the hold up on that. They may,
I just want to make sure they're not going to close to where we can't, once we do get a street, we can't get out. That's my concern.
they promised us that they would never close both ways. That you would always have one way in and one way out.
Can we go on Thomas?
No, Thomas is closed completely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're supposed to close just like on the Orchard Street side at times, like North 4th, and then McPherson will be open, and then vice versa. Once they get to a certain point, everything will have to go south.
Well, I'm saying we can get out to Columbia, and then if they only did half of Charlotte, we can go there. But I haven't seen any notifications. I know there's a road down on Thomas and North 4th there, but I don't see a lot of people driving on it. Is it drivable? Are people allowed to
Me
go on
personally,
it?
if I'm not going to sink into a hole and it's open, it's drivable to me. Yeah, and that's just me. though.
Thomas has all the stabilization done.
Yeah, I mean, and like they said that this stuff, like it's new technology. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I do know that it has to cure for 48 hours, or
Is
you're
that-
gonna have a bunch of problems.
I got an MSDS sheet on that. It says it causes cancer, but none of us was made aware of that.
I didn't
Just
know
throwing
that.
that out there. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the
They cause cancer. There was a little boy with his mom playing within 10 feet.
what is the material?
It's Portland cement. It says right on the front page, may cause cancer. That little kid was 10 feet within that stuff was flying everywhere. I got a video of it.
Portland.
Nobody told her to take that child in the house.
Portland cement causes cancer,
Mhm.
and that's what they're.
That's what Allard sent. That's what Allard sent to me.
Miss Stussy, we're over time.
Okay.
Oh, can I say one more thing? There's a lady, she's in her 90s. She lives at 1605 Thomas Street. And on my way out, she asked, I think she's 98 years old. and she knew I was coming up here, and she asked if somebody from the water department could come down and turn her water back on. Tonight, she don't still have water. And
Okay.
Lord forgive me that I forgot to mention that.
What's the address?
1605 Thomas, it's a yellow house. Her name's Dorothy Coyle.
was it on?
Huh?
Why was it on?
Busted water lines today. And we're driving on sidewalks because both ends of this Thomas Street are closed.
Any others?
Well, I wasn't gonna talk, but I will.
All right.
I'm Christy Smith. Just talking about Thomas Street, we were talking about both ends not being closed, and they are. And we were told, it was suggested, I'm on this end of Thomas, closer to the middle school, and we were suggested to park at the flood wall, which is completely the opposite end of Thomas. We have a man on dialysis every day at his house. They can't get the box truck for his equipment delivered. I'm not sure, they may have it supposed to come yesterday and they didn't. Ms. Coyle that he mentioned, another elderly lady's getting ready to turn 100. She is afraid to go out of her house. We have another, her grandpa's 92 in a wheelchair. She can't get to him. I mean, this is, and I truly appreciate the new streets. I've only been in the neighborhood for 3 years. This has been a nightmare, and you guys said it has to cure for 48 hours. They're telling us 5 to 10 days. One street has been like 17 days. And that's what Mary Ann was talking about. It has been cured. Thomas Street is not
This is
completely cured.
It is around 5 because there's like 3 days of the digging. Are you talking about just?
But this also, Christy, this is a prime example of why city council isn't the right. I mean,
Who
it's
is?
a,
We don't
it's
know.
it's a public forum, but it's not the right avenue to address any of this because we don't have the answers.
But shouldn't you guys go out and find answers for us?
Take our tax money.
I mean, I'm asking, I've never been, I
Listen, this
honestly don't know.
isn't a town hall, so you're gonna have to be quiet unless it's your turn. But
Who do we address? Because anybody
the
we
contractor, the city engineer, and the
Nope.
mayor's office are involved in the communication.
So could we call you to talk to us?
And most likely we're going to direct you to them.
Right, and they will not answer questions. When I ask about them being done, like
Who
the,
doesn't answer? People on the ground, like, yeah,
you know, not the drivers and stuff, they'll tell you they don't know.
Like the workers, labor.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't know.
they also.
No, I'm talking about, like John Stevens, I talk to him all the time. He's clueless about any of this.
Yeah,
being
it needs to
finished.
go to, who's there's Eric.
It is, Eric, can't find Eric.
Okay. Well, we kept to make sure.
I mean, we're stuck in our street. School's starting. I can't walk from my house to the flood wall
Yeah.
to my car every morning. That's wrong. I can. I shouldn't say I can't. We have some in our neighborhood, they truly can't. We don't know who to talk to.
Sure, and we start with the contractor. City engineer is the buffer between the mayor's office and the contractor and the mayor's office.
Can I
It
ask?
seems like a broken record, but like we funded it, and that's our role, and we make sure that the contract is complete and in the time that it's complete, or else. then
Should you
we-
not make sure they're more on schedule? I know
we,
the rain,
we
I get
can't,
that.
and even if I wanted to,
Well, not
Christy-
necessarily you, but
no,
you
no.
guys-
Even if say like my mom lived where Miss Tussie does, and I
you would
wanted,
be ticked.
and I wanted,
Just saying.
something to happen.
Truly.
If I went in and said something, I'm overstepping my bounds as a city councilman, and I can get
Okay.
removed from my seat by acting in a day-to-day capacity that is the mayor's purview. So even if I
Okay.
wanted to,
I see. And I get that. I truly don't know how it works.
I know, and so our job is to try to balance that. This is a place for community input when people don't feel like they're heard, but at the same time being handcuffed and not really being able to do anything about this specific situation other than to pass it on.
So basically, you're just listening to us complain and it doesn't go any further.
Honestly, with
honestly.
us, yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Right.
But the mayor and the mayor's office is here represented, and oftentimes Arcadis and our city engineers are here. So yes, with city council, that's correct. But
Right.
what what the mayor's office and the engineers choose to do with that information, that's on them.
Well, right now, they're choosing to do nothing. I mean, we are stuck. Stuck. And if you walk to your car, you're filthy. Because it just blows. And like one of the guys said, when we mix lime, which sticks to our cars, and we didn't know that, my underneath is covered, will not come off. But he said when we mix lime with the concrete to start the stabilization, that's when the fog shows up, and that's what she's talking about. It's horrible. So not only are foundations and driveways and houses cracking, we're breathing all of that. Nobody would be satisfied with that. But we're told, well, talk to somebody. Who is the city engineer that we can get a hold of?
The city engineering firm is Arcadis, and
Do we have that number?
is
Kevin Wood.
Kevin Wood is the
Yeah,
contact.
if you call, we can put you in contact.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you can push it.
He's who provides us our quarterly updates on engineering projects to council, Christie. And he's been here for most meetings, so he's heard some of these things. But you know, when we get our quarterly updates, we'll be glad to pass along stuff to them.
Well, and as I was saying earlier, he told me today that, you know, with the movement they're making, they should be opened up on Thomas the end of this week or the beginning of
Like the orchard side open?
both, all of Thomas.
Okay. Well, I know they came through and they did water lines, I think, the blue lines. I'm assuming are water from one side of the street to the other today. But our stabilization has not
And
been
when they do
started.
water lines, that's because they hit something.
Right.
It's not because that's part of
So
the
our
problem.
water's been off 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
and water's not cheap here. So that's what, you know, people are asking about, giving help, because we're paying a full water bill, and we don't have water. And I had no idea Miss Quill doesn't have water. Our water came back on after an hour and a half or so today. But I didn't know she didn't have it
Yeah, someone's
tonight.
on their way to her house right now.
Oh, good, okay. I'll probably scare her to death. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Moving on to communications, there are none. Reports, there are none. For the first time in my life, ordinances and resolutions, there are none. So we skip down to miscellaneous. I have 2 things. One, strategic planning to discuss the Fair Labor Standards Act and impact on our budget. We're going to schedule for September 12th at 5:15. I'll have to say that again because I think Mr. Brown is on that committee. So strategic planning, 9/12, 5:15, Fair Labor Standards Act, impact on city budget. Second thing I have is Ironton native Mackenzie Long. You may have heard of her, is running in the Olympics, and she is scheduled to have her first round heat August 4th at 4:55 a.m.
Yes.
Gosh.
That usually only comes around once on my clock a day, but that's on the USA Network at 4:55 a.m. 200-meter women's first round heat August 4th. Also, I need a motion for June 2024 financials. So moved by
I'd like to make a motion to accept the June
Perry.
2024 financials.
Tony, second. Get those. Roll call, please.
Cleary. Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Harry.
The miscellaneous. Haney.
I've gotten some preliminary quotes and sketches and blueprints for the riverfront playground. And possibly, hopefully today I've got the volleyball, beach volleyball quote, but we're gonna have to schedule, and with Nate not being here, we're going to schedule a Parks and Rec at some point, and that possibly the 12th may be a good one. I don't know when's is, but you free the 12th?
Am I the other person? Yeah. Me, you, and Nate. 2/3 of us. We can call
Okay, so you just won't call for the 12th?
it. You want to do it then? I'm afraid if he needs a finance committee, you want to do it the next one
That's fine.
on the 26th.
26th. I should be good. I can't really tell. That's
But there's 2/3 of us. So
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, the longer the better, because we're about to meet with one once they get the contracts in place for the other grant stuff that's going on down there, we'll have more idea of layout for like what we need, space. So,
26 will be fine.
Is that enough time?
yeah.
26, so, 9:26, Parks and Rec.
Five, I don't know that we'll need like a half hour, 15 minutes should suffice, but usually we have finance, I don't know, we say 5:30,
It'll be 5:15, just like the other one.
5:15.
Yeah. We'll update Nate on that and Robbie on the other next meeting as well, if they,
Okay, so 5:15 Parks and Rec meeting regarding riverfront play area, city or council chambers.
no? Very, very good. Oh, disaster plan. We got it.
This is addressed to the mayor. The folks on Florence, specifically Walt Holbrook, wanted to ask if there was any kind of ETA on when work is to resume on Florence. They've been without anybody working at all in any capacity for 4 weeks now.
I don't know, off the top of my head.
Disaster plan. John. You do that?
Yeah, make a
Okay.
motion to accept and enter into the minutes the disaster recovery plan.
I'll say it.
Perry. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Cleary. Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Bob? Everybody raise their hand. Jacob?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cleary. Hany.
Aye.
Harvey.
No.
Hawk.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
I guess we're adjourned.